What's going on, guys? It's Abner here again, once again. I think it's about time I make a video because I've let too much time pass since my last video. And as you know, we're on the series of making 30K per month by monetizing our passions. And so in my last video, we had talked about, where I was at, what I was planning on doing as far as getting the car and getting the phone. And as you can see, if you're watching this video right now and we're back, it's April, that means we have the phone. So I just want to update you guys as far as what has happened since my last video. And now, where are we now? The growth that I've had mentally up to this point, because the gap is so big from where I was before to now that I feel like it's necessary that I had come back today, because if I had waited longer, it would have been too long. And so the reason why I decided to come back now is because right now I do not have the car, right? I have the money to get the car, but I still at this point don't have the car. And I know my last video I had promised, okay, once I had the car, that's when I would think of coming back. But at this point, it's just leaving too many gaps. So I remember even before, when I was making that move to go from whatever I was doing at the time to having the security guard position, and then to the security guard to now the sales position, there was a huge gap. A lot had happened from that time. The same thing here. A lot has happened here. Not so much, I want to say, in terms of real life, but mentally, the person that I've become has changed so drastically. So I want to dump as much of what has happened and transpired in my head to you guys, because the whole point of me starting the series was to take you on this journey with me. So I don't want too much time to pass to where I'm not updating you guys with what's going on and waiting to have everything perfect. Because as you know, that's one thing we talked about in the last videos is stop waiting for things to be perfect to actually use that as a resource to actually put it on display, right? So yeah, there are certain things, for example, the car, I thought it would have just been, okay, I get the cash for it, and then just getting the car would have been easy. So that was not the case. I actually had the income since March. I know I said I was going to come in March. I had already had the income in March, but I couldn't find the car, and I still can't find it at this point. But it's getting to a point now where I do think I'm going to get it soon, so I can now resume my plans and the other things that I was doing. I can put that aside for now and just focus purely on just moving towards my passions and materializing this goal. So beyond the car, obviously, because I don't have a car, the whole thing about working out and, getting back on track with that is still on pause. However, there are certain things that we've developed that we got to talk about. So this role that I am now, that I'm in now, the door-to-door role, the sales role, right? Because I do remember last time I was here, I did briefly tell you guys that I was going to start this role. So officially, right now, counts as my month 2 in being in this role. So we've been in this role for about 2 months. And the things that I've learned, there are a couple things that I've learned that I think I have to share here. So as far as the pay structure, everything is pretty understandable. Everything's pretty straightforward. So I know last time I said I didn't understand how it works. I definitely know how it works now. So basically what happens is every lead that you generate for the company, meaning everybody that, you sign up that is okay with getting a free estimate, you get a $300 commission. So that means that if you get 3 people, that's $900 commission, right? So you either get paid the commission or you get paid the base. So if you're making 600 every week, right, that's 1,200 every 2 weeks. But let's say that first week you made 900, And then the second week you made 600, 900 plus 600, I believe that's 1,500. So that 1,500, that's what you get, right? Yeah, that's 1,500. Yeah, that's what you'll be getting. You'll be getting the 1,500. So what's been happening with me at this job, at first it was a little rough. So for the first 2 months, I remember February and in March, I wasn't cracking into commission. I didn't really find my way here of how to make this work. So it's a very pressured style of marketing. So they do encourage you to like, okay, yeah, do the rebuttal. But of course, we're gonna find our own style of doing things. So it took me a minute to figure out, what ways that I need to do this that's gonna work for me, but I ended up figuring out the ways it's gonna work for me. And now we're starting to crack into the commission, and now we're starting to actually put numbers up there. Because at a certain point, I was almost like on surveillance with my performance, because it was like, okay, you're blanking every single day, meaning that when you go out there, right, and they put you in your zone, they expect you to, at least have 2 people sign up that you can get, that agrees to get a free estimate. What was happening was I was running shifts and I was just not signing anybody up. I couldn't figure it out. Now, I'm able to get 2. I'm able to get 1 for the same day, meaning that, okay, when you get same days, we call them same days. Same days mean that if you get someone scheduled today, it's a very high chance that they're gonna get the estimate. And so there was a week where I was having 1 same day consistently, day after day for 5 days a week, at least 4 of them for sure. And so did I get 4 estimates that week? No, but it was consistent enough to where it builds some retention. So I know last payday was my first like commission check, and it was a 1,500 with 1,200 collected after taxes. Now that's not big. That's not something big, but the idea that I'm able to actually make progress in this job is reassuring, because I was honestly thinking of like, okay, what other ways am I gonna like move forward? Because I was honestly thinking of leaving the job, honestly. So I'm like, yo, this is not for me. What can I do here? I felt checkmated, right? I was honestly thinking that. But thankfully, we're starting to figure this thing out. And I want to say, one of the biggest things I learned from this job so far, it's the ability to deal with negative reactions. So the ability to wrestle with negative reactions. So like, what I mean by that is, for instance, when you meet new people and you are coming across like someone new that you want to talk to, generally there's a level of anxiety there. There might be like some form of nervousness, right? Before you even talk to the person. What door to door has taught me is the thought of the thought of having nervousness before you talk to the person is not there. Why? Because you not only are like your mind is wired to expect this person might give you a negative reaction, but you also like are ready to wrestle with it. In the sense that, for instance, you'll see like a lot of people, you'll knock their doors, you'll get negative reactions. They'll like, get out my door, I'm not interested. And your ability to just say, all right, I totally understand. I got you. I understand. Yes, sir, I understand, I'll be out your way, okay? Because it just develops a certain level of power, because you realize, wait, the person is actually mad, but there's nothing that they can do. All they can do is really just talk. And you realize you don't really have to react to what they're doing, because you have to not react. That's the thing. Because if you react emotionally, that fucks up the next door. because you have to reset. You have to reset to the next door to keep it going, and just be this machine at every door. Because if you're knocking this person, you get affected by how they're reacting, and then you go to the next door, that could have been your lead right there. So understanding, okay, this person is reacting, that there's a huge possibility the person who's behind this door is reacting negatively, and I'm excited to think that this person is going to react negatively. It's like, bring it. You see what I'm saying? That's the mindset you get on. You're like, bring it. Not only am I expecting this person to react negatively, but I'm going to wrestle with that idea. I'm going to stand, like the ability to actually stand and dealing and sparring with negative reactions. So that's something major that I learned. It's like people run away typically, like as soon as they get pushback, they run away from it. But this right here has taught me to stand in it and actually, like, for some reason, there's a slight level of excitement with it, because you just have the confidence, that you can handle it, right? And sometimes even better when you can see the person's assumption, right? As soon as they saw you at the door, you can tell they had an assumption on their face, and then just seeing that you have the power to actually influence their perception of you just by how you're projecting with your energy. Oh my God, how we doing? All right. Yeah, man. How we doing? You see that? Like you don't let the person from the other side dictate how you're gonna approach them, and you keep that consistent. And also there's a level of being outcome independent that plays into this. So for me, what I'm trying to do, I'm not trying to convince the other person. So a lot of times, as soon as I open my mouth, the person will say, yeah, I'm not interested. I'm like, yeah, definitely, you're not interested. Did you know anybody else, though, who could benefit from it? Because I'm not there to try to convince the person to get the estimate. Because if I get into a role where I'm trying to run after the person, it just makes me lose credibility. And my thing is, I know if you give me a map of 300 people, my mindset is I have 4 cards. There's 4 people in here that already will be receptive to my energy and what I'm saying. Because you make a decision based on how you feel connected to the person. So if I'm talking to the person and they feel connected to what I'm saying, meaning we can develop empathy for each other, then they can be more receptive to me talking about, I'm out here giving people free estimates. I'm not here to sell them something. However, if that's not there, the empathy's not there, then I can try to pressure the person and force them to sign up. But what's going to be the return rate of that? They might, sign up by force, and then afterwards I don't hear from them again, or they cancel, right? I want to make sure when I sign someone up, I actually left an impression and they're actually getting the estimate, which is what I've been working on. But the other thing too that's been happening in this job is that I'm not looking at this whole thing as me going out there pitching, right? This is the biggest point that I wanted to go over in this video. Pretty much, the concept which through all this silence that I haven't been posting here, this concept that I pretty much developed in terms of moving us towards the goal of monetizing our passions. And so before I go into that, though, I do want to explain. So with me going out there, I don't look at it as me going out there pitching. I look at it as me going out there networking. Yes, I'm going out there to network. So my approach and philosophies is very different from the culture of what we're being taught in the company, which I'm not saying mine is better or theirs is worse. It's just that there is a spirit that they're operating in, and because it makes sense, because the people that are in the company, everybody's going to have their own philosophy, everybody's going to have their own strategy, but they want to do door to door. Door to door is what they want to do long term. So there's a strategy and mindset that works with that. Within that company, everything is arranged in a way where you either become a manager or you go into sales inside the company, meaning the person who's going out there to actually sell the person on the windows, on the roof, on the sidings, everything exterior, right? But I know, as I've communicated to you guys, that's not my end goal. Door to door is not my end goal. My end goal is to monetize my passion and bring it to 30K per month. I've already established that door to door is not going to do that, right? And I don't need the company to know exactly what my goal is long term. But I do know that the ability, the skills which I'm absorbing from door to door will help me with the things that I want to do further down the line. So with this main concept that I did wanted to share with you guys, the name of the concept is Urban Navigation Intelligence. So this whole idea that I'm talking about, monetizing your passions and bringing it to whatever your income goal is, whether it's 10K per month, 20, 30, 40, 50, even 100, is based around this concept of urban navigation intelligence. And urban navigation intelligence, pretty much, the way that I describe it is the ability to plug into your environment, your city, both online and in person, to reap personal and financial benefits. So personal and professional. So whether that means like you want to make more money, you want influence, you want to connect with more people, develop relationships, dating, otherwise. It's the ability to study, analyze your city, your environment. So any city that you're in, right? Because I'm trying to make this in a way where wherever you are in the world, you can make this work. That's the goal here. So the ability to take any city, analyze the people that are in it, the traffic, how the regions work, the key areas, right? The way people move and flow there, and the type of businesses that are there, and you take your passions and you plug them into it to reap professional and personal benefits. That's what I call urban navigation intelligence. Because the reason why I coined that term is because I really couldn't think of a term that kind of encapsulated everything that went into it. Because in order to do this properly, you have to have social intelligence. You have to have emotional intelligence. You have to know how regions work. You have to know like the flow of network beyond geographical borders. For instance, like for me right now, I live in Delaware. So I have to know how Delaware works seasonally, year round, right? I have to start to become aware of how different places connect to each other. Delaware with Philly, Philly to New Jersey, right? So that's what I've been focusing on and what I've been working through. I literally have a process of how I'm attacking Delaware. So I'm doing it with Delaware, but what I want to put emphasis on and share with you guys is the ability to take this and literally do it within whichever city you live in, right? So I'll talk more about this. This will be a central concept throughout my videos that I talk about. That way you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about and exactly how it's applied, right? Because like I've talked about this so much since the last time we spoke, right? I've talked about this in depth. I've wrote about it in depth. It's something that I probably will end up writing a book about because it's so deep and rich. And all of this came about from the time that I made my last video to now, right? Well, in short, you can say UNI, Urban Navigation Intelligence. The ability to move effectively like a bored assassin through your city and be able to reap your goals. So that's the central concept that I'm going to be making everything on. You guys can ask me any questions or any ideas that you want to throw at me, right? Ask me my opinions or thoughts on anything. because I will be documenting everything that I'm doing, and from beginning to end. Right now, as far as like where I'm at with this job, this being my second month, I don't know exactly when I will be leaving, but I do know, for instance, um, there was, yeah, but I do know I do plan on using the job both from the skills that I'm learning from it, but also the company itself, right? So to give you an example, with the way that I had envisioned of applying urban navigation intelligence is, for instance, like once I have my car, once I have my phone, to then break Delaware apart and then understand, okay, where major businesses are, like what type of businesses is strong in Delaware and what type of key players are here, and then kind of build a system to connect within it. One thing that I did not expect is that I'm actually doing this through door to door. So again, like I was saying earlier, when I'm going out there, I'm not looking at it as I'm pitching, I'm looking at it as I'm networking. So I'm using door to door in all of its angles to work for me. So one thing that I've been focusing on with urban navigation intelligence is focusing on certain regions, right? Not just a state, not just a city, but regions. The region that I've been focusing on now is the Delaware Valley, right? The tri-state area, Philly with New Jersey, Maryland, and Philly, New Jersey, Maryland, and Delaware. So that's the region I've been focusing in, and that's what urban navigation intelligence, it it helps you understand the broader region that you're in, right? I didn't know this before I had started to think of things like this. I did not know this. And so with door to door, ironically, that's where we rotate. We rotate in those tri-state areas. We rotate in Philly, no, not Philly, but PA, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, week by week, every single day. So I'm already tapping into like what my goal was. So what I've been trying to do is, apply urban navigation intelligence through the Delaware Valley or the greater Philadelphia, right? You can do this in your own area and understanding what the major region is for your area. And then just as I'm doing it right now. So back to the point though, what's been happening is we've actually been doing exactly what I've been trying to do personally. So I'm actually doing it right now. So every single day we're going to New Jersey, the next day we're in PA, the next day we're in Delaware, the next day we're in Dover. So as I'm knocking and pitching, I look at myself as an opportunity to integrate myself within that community. So when they give me a zone, because that's how they do it, they split us up in vans. We go in a van, and then they split us up in a specific zone. They call it like a T. So this is your T, this is my T, this is my T. I think most of the other people on my team, they are more so pitching. That's the mindset they're in, that's what they're doing. For me, the way that I'm approaching the pitch, I'm connecting to the people. I look at myself as like, it's almost like I'm not pitching at all. Because when I'm talking to someone, we're making small talk, we're building a friend is what they call it at the company. And we end up talking about different things, and I'm ending up making connections that go beyond just knocking, right? And that's exactly what urban navigation intelligence is about. Because when I'm in those communities, I'm meeting people who are giving me their cards, and we're exchanging contact information and seeing like how we can pour value into each other. So this is already like moving forward. Like there's this wonderful lady I met the other day while I was knocking. She wasn't interested in what I was doing. But because I wasn't so bent up on trying to like give her an estimate, she ended up asking me like, where are you from? What are you about? Then we started talking, and then boom, 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 she lets me know what she's doing. And then she's like, well, actually, like I work in like real estate, this and this. And we should exchange information. And then if I know of anyone that, needs help, because in the space that I work in, people always need remodeling thing with their homes. So I can just have them contact you. You see that? So urban navigation intelligence being applied right there. So again, to the point of not having to be outcome dependent, because if I was in the mindset of, okay, I got to get these people to get an estimate, then I would have been operating under a different philosophy, and I would have been operating with a whole different set of outcomes. Now, am I the best in the team? No. On days I get 3 per day, which is like good, which is very good. But we have other guys in there that are getting 6 per day, 5 per day consistently. And that works for them. But remember, this is not our goal. We're not trying to become the best at door to door. We're trying to use what we're doing to leverage it and to move us forward into monetizing our passions. So that's it for the video. Hopefully you got a lot of value in this video. I am back now. I will consistently be updating you guys with what's going on as far as the car, as far as, of course, going back to working out and, building that foundation. And I'll consistently be updating you guys of how this new concept, urban navigation intelligence, how we're applying it and moving it forward with our goals, right? This is now a topic that's going to be on the channel, right? Because I've been talking about this in real life. The same conversations I have with you guys on here, if you met me in person, it would literally be the same conversations we're having. So this is just me more so like catching you guys up to what's been going on, because I'm trying my best to fit it in this video. That's why this video is so long. I didn't intend for it to be that long. But yeah, I'll be updating you guys. One thing that I will ask as well is I might as well just, leverage the what I'm doing door to door on here as well. So the rule of what they want us to do, right, is to stick within the borders of PA, New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland, right? So, and also the home values has to be at a certain, at least 225K, right, to 300,000. So they don't have a rule in terms of me having to like find leads while I'm on the clock. I can find leads anywhere at any time and just send it to them. So what I want to do in this company is create a lane for myself where I'm able to generate lead outside of me knocking, even online and with building connections, right? Like I was telling you about that lady. So what you guys can help me do is, if you know of anyone, if you're in the New Jersey, Delaware, PA, and Maryland area, you guys can send me, anybody who's thinking about, exterior issues that they have. You guys can send me those leads, and then I can send it to the company, and then we freaking crush it in that company, right? They don't have to buy any products as long as they get the estimate. That's all that really matters, and I get credit for it. So let me know if you guys know anyone. Just feel free to help me with this as well, because I'm thinking like, what the heck, why not use every platform that I can to make this happen? But no pressure. You guys don't have to do this, right? This is just something that I'm putting out there. And again, they have to be in those 4 areas: PA, Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware. I'm sure if you guys send them over, they're not going to be opposed to getting more leads, right? And I think it would be a smart way to make this happen, okay? So yeah, again, hopefully you guys found a lot of value in this video. This was raw, uncut. That's how I make my videos, freestyle from beginning to end. And hopefully you guys haven't forgot about me thinking that I gave up. I'm still here, guys, and I'm now back. All right. So peace. Stay tuned to the next video.